friends, this is Renee from Little Village Homestead, and today I'm going to can up some of my leftover pork. I made pork and potatoes the other night, and I'm going to turn it into a nice little stew, and I'm going to show you how I can it. So, we'll be right back. Bye-bye. Friends, I am back, and you can see here I've got pork, a big huge pork roast, and I've got potatoes left in here, and the cabbage and the onions were all ate. This is left over from our big family dinner the other night, and this is all I got left. I am not going to let this go to waste. I'm going to turn this into a nice little pork stew, and I'm going to can it, and I'm going to show you how I do it. But you don't need to, I'm just going to take all the meat off the bone and chop it up with the potatoes, put it in my pan, and then I'll bring it back and I'll show you what else I'm going to add to it. Be right back. Hey friends, I am back, and I am going to show you. I'm going to turn my burner up on medium-high first. I've got all my meat and my potatoes, and there was a little couple pieces of cabbage in there that I cut up, so it's all in here. You can see over here I've got my rings in my pan, and I've got my water heating to soak them in hot water, because you don't want to boil them. It's not recommended any longer. So we've got this turned up to the meat turned up to medium-high, and all I'm going to do, this is so packed with flavor that I'm not going to put any broth or anything in it, because it's wonderful. But I am going to take a little bit of my, and I'll use it all, a little bit of my mixed vegetables and put in there. And then all I'm going to do is add some water to this, just for some good juice, because I'm making a nice stew out of this. Soup. I shouldn't say stew, because it's going to be a soup. I'm going to get that mixed up. It's already seasoned. I've got salt and pepper in here from when I cooked this. So remember, this is just leftovers. But that's a lot of food to go to waste if I would just leave it in the fridge, you know, and I didn't want to do that. So this is what I'm going to do. So anyway, I'm just going to mix that up. It's that simple. Of course, you can add pretty much anything you want to it, any kind of vegetable you'd like to it, or you don't even have to add vegetables. But very simple. So this is going to come to a good boil, and then I'm just going to bring it to a boil and turn the heat off, and then I'm just going to be ready to can, because of course it's going to process, because it's meat, it's going to process for 90 minutes. And I've got all my jars ready. I'm going to can this in pints. I've got my lids are going to be, by the time this is done, the lids will be good and soaked in hot water, and I've got everything I need to get it canned up. So let's let this boil, and I got it mixed up pretty good. We'll let this boil, and I'll get everything else ready, and then we'll be back, and I'll show you how I can it up. Friends, I am back, and I turned my burner off. This came up to a boil, and you can see it's steaming pretty good. My lids have been soaking in that nice hot water and getting all happy in there. So I'm going to show you this. And I usually do this in my sink so that it doesn't create a mess, but that's alright. We're going to lay a towel down right here. I got a couple of jars. I'm going to show you how I do this. Okay, so with this, I'm just going to slide this over. This is very nice. So I'm just going to start filling my little pints. And you want to fill them about, give them about a 1/4 inch head space. See that down in there? I'm going to just put a little juice in there. Bring it up to about a 1/4 inch. I'm going to fill this one. And then I'll show you how I do these two. Oh, these are good when you heat them up and put them over. I know there's potatoes in them, but you can put them over a little bit of rice. And my family loves stew over rice. So that's what I do with it. I keep these in there. That way they can just heat it up and Put it over some rice. Okay, so we got that there. Now, the most important thing is you want to make sure you don't have to do too much with this. Just debubble it because it's mostly liquid, but I just give it a good little stir up anyway, just to make sure everything is even and dispersed evenly. And I can probably put a little more juice in there. There. Probably a little more in each one. Alright, so we got that there. Now I got my little pan with, I got a little bit of vinegar in my pan because I wipe my rims and around my edges with vinegar. It takes any grease or anything that may be on it off. And it's that simple. I'm hoping you can see me okay. Yeah, you can see it. Alright. See, I got that all cleaned off. Okay, now we're going to get a wide mouth. I got them right down in here. Okay. Those are fairly hot, but my fingers, again, are used to hot. Ooh! Put on there just finger tight. Let me get this one out of here. Okay. Just put it on there. Just finger tight. And it's that simple. So, I am going to go and I am going to jar up the rest of my soup here, and then I'll be back and I'll show you my next step. Be back. Hey friends, I am back. I'm all jarred up. I'm going to show you how I put these in here. And I wound up with 8 pints, which is a beautiful addition to my pantry. So, there we have that. Now I'm going to put about 2 quarts of water in the bottom of that pan. Maybe more. I'm not sure yet. You want a good 2 inches of water. And I'm also going to put a splash of vinegar, and that keeps your jars from clouding up. Now my jars weren't hot, but they were sanitized, you know, clean and sanitized. Let's see. Yep, that's good. You can see what I got in there. That's a good amount. Okay, now I'm going to put my lid on here. I've got an old booger of a canner. I'm going to turn it on high. And then when this little vent here, I don't know if you can see it. When this little vent here starts spewing steam, I'm going to time it for 10 minutes. And that heats everything up in the canner and gets it all ready. And then when it spews after 10 minutes of, you know, a steady stream of steam, I'm going to put my jiggler on there. And then once it starts jiggling, then I'm going to time it for 90 minutes, because this is meat. Even though it's already cooked, it is meat and it has to go for 90 minutes. The science behind that is quite simple. Meat is dense, and the inside of this canner heats up to 240 degrees, and the inside of that meat needs to heat up to the same. That's why it goes 90 minutes. That way you're assured there's no botulism, no bacteria, no organisms in there that can grow inside your jar. So, that's simple. Anyway, when that's all set and I get ready to put the jiggler on, I'll come back and show you how it steams. Be back. Hey friends, I am back, and if you probably can't see it, you might not be able to hear it, but it's spewing. And it's been spewing now for 10 minutes. So I'm going to take my little jiggler on 10 pounds of pressure, And I'm going to put it right over the top of that. And now it's going to, when it starts to jiggle, that's when you time it. And you're going to time it for 90 minutes. Actually, you're going to time it for 75 minutes because I'm doing pints. I'm sorry, let me correct that right away before we go any further. 75 minutes because we're doing pints. 90 minutes for quarts. I'm so used to doing quarts. I have quarts on the brain. Anyway, so once that starts jiggling, we'll set our timer for 75 minutes for pints, 90 minutes for quarts, and then when it's all done, I'll bring you back and I'll show you how it turns out. Okay friends, I am back and I'm just showing you how it started to jiggle. I'm going to turn this down a little bit because it should only jiggle about 3-4 times a minute. And then I'm going to time it for 75 minutes. Okay, it's going, and in 75 minutes, it's going to be done, and I'll bring you back and I'll show you how it turns out. I just wanted to show you that, just so you can see that jiggling. I'll turn it down. You'll have to play with your burner a little bit, you know, but you just want it to jiggle, and sometimes you might even have a gauge. I don't have a gauge. I don't like a gauge. You have to sit and babysit it. I can listen to this. I've been canning for so long without a gauge that I can just tell by the sound. So anyway, that's that, and when it's done, I'll bring you back and show you. I am back, and I let this, ooh, it's still hot, but I let it completely cool. There's just a little extra pressure in there. It's been cooling for about a good hour. Once I feel that all. Okay, now the trick with this is when you open these, you got to open them away from you. Open it away from you like so, otherwise you're going to get burnt with steam. And that is screaming hot, and that smells, you can smell that in there, it smells good. Okay, now I'll show you one of these. See how nice those turned out? Beautiful. And I did 8 of these, so they're just going to sit here and cool, and tomorrow morning I'll wash my jars and take my rings off and wash everything up and put them in my pantry. How nice those are. So there you have it, friends. I did 8 of them, and look, there's like 8 little meals here that would have went to waste had I not put them in the jars and canned them up. So, and you can hear them starting to ping already. So there we go. Alright, I'm going to take the rest of these out and let them cool. Clean up my little bit of mess here, and I'm all done. And that was a busy day. So, there you have it, friends. Thanks for watching.